true ochre and the eucalyptus, and I used a chip brush. And I did the background all in white, and as I was going, I started adding a little bit of the yellow ochre just by going over the white, and then I would occasionally, I keep white on the brush, but I would occasionally go through with a little bit of the yellow ochre and make a corner, or I would do the same thing with the eucalyptus. Let me just put this over here so I got some on here. So I'm still navigating some of this stuff so I can store it nicely. Okay, so let me do that again. So I got some white on here. See, I'm just kind of scratching it on. And then, like I said, I take a corner, just a corner. You see, it's just a corner of the ochre, which I thought I had on here too. These are from last night. Just to dry it out. Huh? So we're just going to take a little bit of that yellow, just a corner. Like I said, we're going to make these little corners like that. You see it? And kind of smooth them in, make some lines. If there's too much line, you can go over it with some white. Like that. Then every now and then I'm going to pick up some of that eucalyptus, that kind of green color. I haven't washed the brush. And I'm going to kind of just put it where that white was. Let's put some green. So you're going to keep doing that until you get like a board look here. Now, like I said, don't make it real fancy. Just do the background in white, come in with some yellow on the corners. Take some white again. Wipe off a little bit and kind of blend in that yellow. You should end up with something like boards, white colored old boards. Now, if a few were like this way, that's okay. Makes it look even older. The point is to get some kind of lines in there, then to tone that white down with that greenish eucalyptus color. So you should have something like this. Okay. Now what we want to do is, I would normally dry this. So I get my blow dryer out. So you could even have your people just take, usually I do a flyer with every class. So in case someone gets ahead or behind, they'll have a picture of this painting. And they could dry it like with that paper. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest they get a round brush, but you guys, I'm sure you know what that is. If not, in the beginning of this group, I'm going to put information on brushes. Usually you need a chip brush, a round brush, and detail brushes. And all round brushes is a brush where all the hair has went in and made that tip kind of on the round side. Like this one, it kind of comes to a point so that you can make almost like you're drawing fine lines. They come in all different sizes. I can show you, like they can go really small to really large. Here's a small one. But we're going to use a medium-sized one. We're not going to use a tiny one. And what we're going to do is, another one here. What we're going to do is, I'm going to wet the brush, of course, and take some white. Now we're kind of doing is just, we're going to make a heart. You could do just a circle. And I'm going to do like 2 C's. Now, if you're really worried about making a heart, you could take a piece of paper, fold it in half, make a line, and cut it, and then lay it out. You don't need to be that perfect because we're going to do some palette knife work and just some random roses. So I'm going to this. But this doesn't need to be perfect because it's going to be filled in with flowers. I'm going to kind of on the big side. Don't want to take up the whole painting because you want to see those boards in the back. But luckily, this will cover up anything you're not crazy about. All right. So then we got a heart. Okay. Now, I want to put in, where do I think I'm going to put these hearts? And I think I'm going to put them in a pink. So I got this vintage pink Deco Art, which is like one of my favorite paints. But you use what you want. You could use yellows. I got Deco Art's raspberry. We might put a little bit of that in too. I'll make a list in this guide of all the colors you're going to need. Now, I'm not going to make the rose right off. I'm just going to position, or, you know, where I want them. So I left the white right in the brush. And I'm going to just make small roses. I don't want big ones in this one. This is kind of a small canvas. If you do bigger, then do bigger roses. You can see I kind of do like this little hook thing. And then I go like that. Now, if you had a bigger rose, you're going to do more of them. Now, I don't do even ones. I always do like, I got 4, I need 5. I'll do one over here. So now I get all those colored ones in. Now I want to do some red ones and white ones, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for like a hay or grass with my palette knife. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this raspberry, and I'm going to put that on the palette. And I'm not going to clean my brush again. I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit. And I'm going to add that raspberry. You know, there's some smallish ones here too, not too big. Not too big. Right here. Okay, so we got like kind of like roses. Now you could practice these on, you know, on your paper plate. You could have them do that, and it will make it easier for them. They could also do like a swirly type. 485 anyways. You could do like where you just kind of come in and you just go like this. That's okay too. Either one works. You can do the same thing. Now I'm going to take a palette knife. You could do this with a fine liner too. Either or. I'll show you both. We get a pointy. I got a pointy palette knife, and they sell these at Michael's. They're pretty pointy. They have some more rounded, but the pointy ones come in handy because you can make that hay look. Now I'm going to take that same gold we used back here, it's the ochre, and I think I got some melted chocolate from let me see what this one is. Deco Art. And I also got this burgundy, but you can use a combination of both the browns and a little bit of the raspberry. I'll put a list. Any of the medium or dark browns will work for this. Even like a little yellow, and then definitely some white. But what you're looking to do is do like almost like a hay color. So don't be afraid to like get it right on there. I'm gonna add a little white in with this brown. I got this brown. I'll put some white in with it. Kind of making it swirly. It's not perfect. I'm gonna add a little bit yellow. So now I got like a couple different colors. Every time I go in there, I'm gonna pick up a different color from that swirl. And I'm just gonna kind of lay the brush down and start doing this. Then I could take the tip of this and kind of start making these designs with it. There's a couple ways of doing this. I'm going to show you what I mean. Now you could take your brush, a small round brush. You could swirl, make sure you dab it. You could swirl right through this like this and make it like this. And then take your, and while it's still wet, scrape through it. Now we're going to put some greenery in too. This is just to give it like, what is that stuff you get in the dollar stores? Oh, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a, they use it to fill in, I use it too, to fill in like floral displays and Spanish moss. That's what you're looking for. Now I'm going to occasionally add some white to it. Yeah, see how it takes a while to do it with a palette knife. So like I said, you could go through each section. Same thing, add those different browns, the yellow ochre, the white, the melted chocolate, and just kind of do these little, like that. I'm gonna add a little white to that. Don't make it too complicated because you overthink it. Don't do that. You can pick up a little more color if you want and just go through and make your Spanish moss. I can't talk. I'm going to have foliage, probably a little ribbon maybe. See how it looks. If it's too full. And put in some smaller highlight like flowers. Same thing. I kind of, when I do this, I kind of want to make sure that my my paint on here is still wet when I come through the palette. The palette knife gives it like a really stringy kind of, like Spanish moss. I go through while it's wet. Don't put it on there too thick either. Kind of do this number. Anything where we dip into the flower too, you can go over the flower. Like I said, pick up some extra and kind of throw some of them out. Make sure there's darks and lights. Same thing all the way around. Oops. Brown, both the browns. Just kind of around the outside, a little white too. Now this is exactly how I would teach it if I was teaching a live class. I might even skip the palette knife and just do the small brush. But I think this gives it an interesting look and makes you a little bit different from everybody else. And you can get these plastic knives in bulk off Amazon, and I've seen them at the dollar store. Or you could bring in some old credit cards, plastic knives, which you can buy by the bag. They work too. So don't think you got to go out and buy a bunch of palette knives. So just to let you know. Now you can kind of fill in the parts like here, we just go in and do that. Just kind of take the thing and put some darks in or lights, whatever you feel you need. I just want to make sure there's a lot of like little stroke marks here and there. Gives it that nice like floral look. Right, same thing. I'm going to go back through and add some more paint. So I got some paint on there, and it just makes it a lot quicker than trying to go through and do every little itty bitty piece. Got to be a mixture of darks and lights, so you got to kind of mix them up a little bit. I'm going to pick up a little more white. I'm going to go through and kind of same thing. Now this is not something I normally do a template with. I may do a template. I might be putting ones in these classes that I think a lot of these could be taught, but I may or may not do a template for this. I have made up my mind. It'll be in the guide what I'm going to do. So might make people more comfortable. Like I said, if you're not comfortable with doing this like a scratching technique, then you could do a very small detail brush. Put the paint on first, and while the paint's a little bit wet, you go through it with a very small brush, which I'll do that too. Let's do that. Very small brush. What we got? Thought I did all my brushes over. I just washed a whole bunch of them. So I got over here. Any small ones that they got, or that you distribute for the party, they could do the same thing. Get a big one. Now they might like their little filler here with a little bit bigger. They could do that. Here's the small one. You can go through and basically do the same thing. It's the same thing. It'll take a little time. That's okay. Do the same thing. Still gives it kind of a rustic look. Same thing. More darker brown. I put the dark green because I'm gonna go over this with greens and stuff, and I kind of want the lighter colors to really show. See how I'm mixing up both the browns and the white. All right, so it's very similar looking. And then let's see. Go through, pick up some of that white, and I'll go through and do the same thing, like kind of just to make it look the same. But you can do whatever you want. You might want to do a trial run. But you could do this in your multimedia book or anything you got that you practice on. Any kind of paper. This is really not, this is very basic palette knife work. Like I said, it makes you look a little different, you know, than the rest of the crowd. And so now I got that all filled in. Now you could do, like I said, you could do a variation of colors on this. You could even add a little bit of that raspberry if you want to here and there. And I do. Even add a little bit of blue. I might do actually. Just kind of add some reds to it. You could add more of that background green that I have in the back. It's eucalyptus. Just giving you some options. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some of this green out. A little thick in the bottom here. I'm going to fix up those flowers and add more. And then we're gonna want some greenery. Let's see. Do that green. Keep that background green. I can do a little bit in here. Not much. A little bit here and there. Now I'm gonna want some green. So it gets that small round brush out again. And I'm gonna add a little white and pink. It's always dark to light. You'll hear me repeat that. Always dark to light. So not really just white, but kind of, there's still a little pink in here. If you're watching me, I took the white, I took the pink up here on the side. So it's still pretty pink, but it's lighter. And it'll give me another dimension. I'm going to kind of go through like in a circle and just make these little slash marks and a couple in the middle. It fills it in. Same thing here. Kind of hitting those spots that I missed deliberately. And I made slashes in a circle and then one in the middle. Adding some white to that pink again. Same thing, I'm making these little slashes. And one in the middle. You could have left them the way they are. It's really up to you. I need more white this one. Same thing. You can make more or less. Oh, wrong one. Same thing. Now on these red ones, I'm going to pick up the raspberry, that is, and the white, and make a paler raspberry. Just a paler, lighter raspberry. Same thing. Put some on the outside too, just I think they need to be a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna. And they haven't got to be perfect. That's another thing. They don't have to be. They could be, but they don't have to be. All right, so there's the basic painting. Now I want some greenery. So what do we got over here? You could use a green like this. It's a blue green. So I don't want too much of a green. I want like a blue green. Let's see what I got. What's this? This is the mermaid tail. Oh, this is pretty cool. This is like Heidi's favorite color. I like this too. I like the teals. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. And I still got this little round brush, or you could use a smaller brush. Just depends on how big you want your flowers. Really, that's all that matters. I think I picked. All right. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is we are going to add that mermaid tail in a little white. And you just want little tiny flowers, I think, on this. So it'd be really kind of dainty. You could add whatever green you want. I might add a little more green to this, but I'm kind of liking this teal green. But I'm just going to lay it down and just make some small ones. Well, I might mix some with the paint because I didn't quite dry it. But that's okay too. Makes it a little interesting. Just kind of eye it off.